Hi, I'm Craig Lankton.
And I'm Nicola Lankton.
We are sheep farmers at Manor Farm, Burton Overy. Normally we have a number of school visits to the farm at lambing time, but this year, as of last, things have been different and we won't be able to host them. So we thought we'd bring lambing to you. So we're going to be doing a series of videos of what's happening on the farm, running through the start of lambing and through lambing. Hello. Here I am outside the main sheep shed at the farm. The sheep in here have all been scanned. These are the top half of the shed with the red marks on are all scanned to have breed. So we can walk down the shed, and as we go down, these with the green mark on are going to have 1. So the sheep that are having 3 have more feed and are fed for longer. They're brought in at Christmas, and these that are having 1 are only brought in at the start of February. That ewe over there is amazing because she is going to have 4. She's got 2 red dots on, so let's hope she goes all right and produces 4 healthy.
I can't see her. I think she's just behind that one there.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
This is just a spray that's going on,
which stops them from getting lice. A small little insect that lives under the wool of the sheep and causes them to itch quite badly, and they can lose a lot of wool. So it's a good idea just to do this before lambing. Okay, so here we are. We're injecting the sheep with something called Heptavac P+. This is like a flu jab for the sheep. It stops them getting pneumonia, and it also has antibodies in it that the ewes, the female sheep, pass on to their lambs in their milk. And that milk, first milk, is colostrum, and this boosts the antibodies in the milk so that it gives the lambs a good, strong, healthy start and protects them from a lot of diseases.
Okay, Craig, do you want to just show us where we inject them and how we do it?
Okay, we inject the sheep in the rump, and it's just under the skin, which is subcutaneous. Okay.
That's quite a long, big word there.
Yeah, so that means it's under the skin.
But it's not in a vein or a muscle.
So there we go.
And then I've got a marking stick here. So I mark them so I know which ones we've done, so we don't do them twice. That's our system.
And one thing this year, we've actually had a problem getting our vaccines, simply because all the companies, the manufacturing companies, are making coronavirus vaccine. And similar to the coronavirus, this vaccine has to be given 6 weeks or 4 weeks apart. So they have 2 doses, 4 and 6 weeks apart, to get them totally immune. So they need the two shots.
So is this the first shot or the second shot?
This is the second shot.
Okay, so we've already done them once.
We've always done once.
Okay. We are up here at the hen house, just checking the water is not frozen. Oh, it says it's going. That's good. It's just all come through, so that's good. And as you can see, the snow on the nest boxes. So it's pretty cold this morning. It was about -5, I think, and that is the temperature that we can be in trouble with getting water to both the hens and the sheep. There's the dog. She's loving the snow.
stick now. Here we have the pens of 2s, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we've got Richard who's bedding down. We've given them a nice clean bed, and so everything's nice and clean for them. And then we'll be feeding them in another 5 minutes.
And we've not really introduced the dog,
Yeah.
Craig.
No, we haven't. This is Belle.
This, who you've seen in lots of takes already.
She is our sheepdog. She's better at football than she's rounding up sheep. Probably no doubt you'll see that skill a bit later on. But she's nice natured and won't hurt anybody. We're now 2 weeks away from lambing, so the ewes are having a bigger feed now. We start off feeding them half a kilo a day, and then it goes to 1 kilo, and we slowly build it up over the 6 weeks. So here we are feeding the sheep now. As you can probably hear, it's quite noisy. My son's feeding the sheep, and the sheep get quite excited.
As well as the dog, of course.
It's also a good opportunity for me to see if the sheep are okay. If any sheep is missing, we know there's something wrong with it. Might have a temperature or might be going into a premature labour. So it's a good opportunity for us just to inspect the sheep. The food we're giving them now is a concentrate, and this is high in energy and protein. It also has a very high mineral content as well. As the lambs grow bigger inside their mothers, the mother's stomach gets smaller, so we have to give them a very concentrated feed, particularly those that are carrying 3. Something to eat, and the forage helps to break down the concentrate to give them a balanced diet. And this is actually what we call haylage, which is dried grass, and it smells really nice, and the sheep enjoy it. And as you can see, they're tucking into that as well. They'll have this all night, and it's just something for them to stop them getting hungry.
We're now feeding down the bottom. They get 2 feeds a day, and they're supposed to be equally spaced out.
Unfortunately, we've got Belle here. Belle's going to help us put them back in. Come on, Belle. Come on, Belle. Good girl.
It's an unmistakable noise. It's the first lamb we have at the farm. Now this is like a surrogate. The ewe actually miscarried a few days ago, and the lamb is from a neighbouring farmer who had one of three. So she's given one of her lambs to this ewe here. She's not really that sure about it at the moment. And bonding could take quite a while. But a ewe really can only successfully raise 2 lambs. So this is the opportunity for a mother to have a baby and the baby to have a mother. Look, she's not quite sure there. She's standing it, she's sort of butted it a little bit, so it could be a long road. That's better. She's now got some nice straw as bedding. And some haylage there, and some water in the blue bucket. Still not quite sure of each other, so it's to get the bonding between mother and lamb, and that's through the lamb sucking. And the lamb was born only a few hours ago, but she already knows that this is not her mother. She senses that because the mother's not nuzzling her. She's still unsure. So when the lamb hopefully suckles naturally and the ewe will let her, then the bonding process gets stronger. Okay, so let's check on how the lamb is doing. This is 24 hours, a day after we've had them and they've been getting to know each other. What a wonderful sight. The lamb is sucking from its mother, or its new mother, and she's standing nice and still for the lamb to suck. Notice the lamb's waggling her tail. It's normally associated with that happy feeling of being fed and getting some good milk. That is so great to see. This morning we're just going to check on our lamb to see how she is doing. They're still here in the corner. It's a bit dark this morning. It's going pretty well. They like each other. The only problem we have, because the ewe had premature babies, her milk hasn't come through as well as we would have liked, which means, as you can see, it's morning and the lamb is quite hungry. You can see the way. So I'll just show you. I've got a baby's bottle here that we use, and it's got powdered milk in which I've made up. It's just tepid, and I'm going to just be feeding the lamb. Look, unfortunately she is hungry, which is not what we would want, because at this stage now, because the lamb is now a few days old, we would be looking to put her out, and so the mother would get some grass and the lamb a bit more freedom, and they can bond in the field in a small paddock normally, but it's just not the case at the moment. By the way, if anyone's got a name for our first lamb, you probably heard me referring to her as a she. So we have our second lamb on the farm, but not born. Again, the mother unfortunately had a miscarriage, and she'd just started early and the lambs were too premature to save. So we're going down the road again and trying to get them to bond with each other. The lamb's very healthy. It's from a neighbouring farmer, so we'll have to see how that goes. Well, he's starting early. He's eating his grass, look. He's enjoying that. Mother still doesn't quite like him this morning, but he seems very happy. That's what we've got here in the dark. Reflecting off my head torch, their eyes. Still very reflective. See their eyes. Just doing my early evening shift just to check everything. It's our first ewe in labour. You can see the water bag at the rear. She's a single. And you probably can gather it's at night, which does happen quite often. So she's gone down. She hopefully will push it out herself. She's aware I'm looking at her. And here she's already calling. It's very uncomfortable. Here's our first lamb born this year. It's a single. Finally came out, but I didn't get the moment. And before you can see, the lamb is wet, and the mother's licking her dry. All seems to be well. It's been just about an hour since the lamb was born, and there he or she, I've not had a look yet. You can see he's a bit wobbly still, but he's up, he's alert, he looks very bright, and really pleased with that. So when we put her in the pen and she's got clean bedding and she's in her pen, the things we need to do now is we give the ewe, once she's licked off the lamb, she'll be very thirsty, so we put water in, and we have to navel the umbilical cord. So I've got my pot here.
Okay, we've got a really nice day on the farm today, so we're going to try and put these ewes and lambs out for the first time, get a bit of fresh air. I'm sure they're going to enjoy it.
Okay, let's open the door.
Come on, baby. Mother's going to follow the lamb out.
Oh, that's gone back in.
Go back in, that's a good start. Now we'll sheep it out on.
Oh dear. There you go, out you go. Right, out they go. can't keep up with them.
Yeah. The sun will just be getting the grass to grow, so it'll be nice for the mothers to have a bit of fresh grass. So finally now, after 9 days, we're going to try this one out. The mother still hasn't got that much milk, but we hope that by putting her in the paddock on the grass, that the milk will come and they'll be alright. We'll still be able to keep an eye on the lamb and give him a little bottle either in the morning or at night, so no harm will come of him.
See my long shadow. It's a nice, beautiful, sunny morning. I'm just checking on the ewes that we put out yesterday, Craig and I. It was a cold one last night, and you think, well, they're not really equipped, the lambs, for the cold, but as long as they've got plenty of milk and they're with their mothers, should be absolutely fine. It's normally the wet that they don't like. I'm just going to check on the lamb that I'm feeding. That was a single one there. That's Teddy. Oh, we've named him Teddy. So we're coming down the bottom here to see if the lamb's hungry this morning. This is the one that we have no name for. We're waiting for a name. She's run off. So keep going towards her. She seems fine at the minute, but I will check her later. I'm going to say there's a bit of frost on the ground there, look. Otherwise it's quite a lovely day. Well, it's the end of the week. It's now the last Friday in February 26th, and we've not really officially started yet. We've got a few early lambs, so we've got 6 pens now here occupied. So some of these were born last night, these were born this morning, but they've all been fed, watered and had hay, and for some of them it's their second day, and it may be another day before they will go out. As you can see, still got a lot of pens empty. There's a single over there. Let's just go and have a look at her. She's in the smaller pens on the end there, and she's a young sheep, so she's a first time mum, and she's out in the smaller pens for the singles. She's a bit nervous, and she's got a very big lamb. I was there when it was born last night, and as you can see, it's a big lamb for quite a small sheep. It's her first time, so she's a good mum, but she's a bit nervous. As you say, we've got a few more pens waiting. So it's a beautiful early spring evening. It's 5 o'clock. In the distance you can see our gravel hole field, and You see the bumps up and down in the field. That's called an ancient ridge and furrow field, going back to olden times. You still might get a little play in as the lambs make friends. They're not still quite sure, they're still keeping very much to their mothers, but they have been playing a little bit. In this little outbuilding here, we've set up our first pen of cade lambs. It's a farming term and it's spelled C-A-D-E, meaning pet or orphan lambs, ones that we will hand rear. And these lambs have come from ewes that have had more than two. And we've bought these in here because their mothers are already struggling to give enough milk for 3 lambs. So these two are one of 3. So they're our first 2 lambs. So we'll be feeding them on a bottle, and then we'll get them on another feeding system when they're a little bit older. But there are 2 there. We've now got 4 cade lambs. So these are our pet lambs, and we've introduced the first feeding system, which is just a bucket with 2 teats, and the idea is that they can help themselves to it when they're hungry. So inside we've got some milk, and it's a bit like a flask. It's insulated, so when we put warm water in, it keeps it warm. As you can see, the steam coming off it, and it just keeps, so we almost put cold milk in there, and it just sort of keeps it tepid for the lambs. So I've taken this one out of the pen because there was another ewe that was sort of starting to lick it, so I was quite interested in it. And it is a problem to have mismothering. So sometimes if you have 2 in the pen and they've had 3 lambs each, they can get quite mixed up. And the ewes will know which ones are there. So even if you pen them up wrongly, then you could have problems. So I've just moved this one out where it's a little bit cleaner as well. The lamb is trying to get up. It's literally been born about 5 minutes. And the first thing it will do, by instinct, it will look underneath the mother, looking for the milk. She's licking it dry. And so she's circling round, which is a protection instinct as well. We should be very aware of any so-called predators. All the time she's making the calling sound we heard before. It's very distinctive, and it does alert us to know which ewes are also going to lamb, because they start making it before the lamb's born. They're a little bit unsteady still, but it's amazing how quickly they do get to their feet. We'll follow in a bit later. So the mother has to work hard, because here she is, she's covering the second one, look. She's still covering the first one, the second one's coming out. Looks a bit of a monster. There it is. The next thing she did, she's probably getting a bit tired now, but she should stand up. She needs to stand up. Not quite pushed it out. Yeah, it's out now. There we go. I'm just going to head over it to it. Because it hadn't taken its first breath. I didn't want to assist in that one. But if the afterbirth is around the face, and especially the nose and the mouth area, it can suffocate. So it hadn't taken its first breath until I just assisted there. That's why I'm going to keep my eye on her, because she's got another one to come. So she's working hard. She's given birth to one, licked him dry, and had the second one there. That's a good sign. He's taken a nice big breath and now he's already got his head up. You can see actually the heat, there's a bit of steam coming off as the lamb has come from a lovely warm place, and it's just getting a little bit cold out here. So that's why it's so important to lick them dry. And she's nice, calm mother. She's allowing me just to sit here and film her. She's getting on with the job. So well done. Here we go. This is for number 3. She's lying down, so she's only just had number 2. Number 3 is coming quite quickly. I've had a quick check around to make sure nothing else is happening. And as you can see, that's why we put them in pens, because you can see number 1 is going for a wander around, having a little adventure. So she's stopped in her tracks just to give it some attention. And number 2 is trying to get up. There you go. I think number 1 is so close to getting the milk. But thankfully, I don't think it's going to be too long. It's a good, healthy sign that they're all presented correctly, which makes the birthing so much quicker. Oh golly, that was very quick in the end. I think I just about managed to catch it. I turned the camera off and it all happened so quickly. Now that one, I don't know whether you actually caught it, but the water bag burst as she was giving birth, so it's not quite so, but I'm still moving because I'm just a bit worried that it's not actually moved yet. There you go. Oh, so you see that, sorry. It's taking its first breath again. But that, what I was trying to explain, the water bag actually broke as she was pushing it out. which have been safer than number 2. There you go, 3 lovely lambs. So I'm just going to go and get what we call our lambing trolley, which I'll show you in a minute, and take her to some clean bedding and her pen. There you go. I'm just showing you putting the lambs in our lamb trolley. She's got 3, so it's hard for us to carry all 3 at once. We put them in a trolley. Richard's going to just pull it along. And it's at the height that you can see the lambs and follows. So they have a nice ride. So it keeps them clean. So they don't have to put them on the floor. So she goes to her clean pen. It's a simple thing, but it works. It works pretty well. There he is, he's putting them in the pen there, down there. There we go. These 3 were actually born yesterday, and she was going to have 2, and we got a bonus lamb. She's tiny, but they've survived for 24 hours, and even though they're small, they've all been sucking, and I'm hoping that they're all going to thrive. The 3 of them. He's got a very smart haircut. I'm just up at the hen house collecting the eggs. I look into the paddock and I see a football. And at first I thought there was 2 crows by the side of it, and then I looked to see that our little lambs are out in the paddock and obviously taking up football. I'll perhaps show you a video if they ever start playing with the football.
I don't know whether you remember when we were telling you about the scanning and how we knew how many lambs the ewes were going to have, and we said that one of them was going to have 4. Well, that happened at 5:30 this morning. We had these 4 wonderful lambs. I'm afraid I had to get Nicola out of bed. She'd been up until 1:30, but at 5:30 I had to get her out of bed to help me lamb this sheep, because you can imagine all 4 lambs inside her. They were all sort of tangled up together. 2 were coming together, 1 was upside down. And anyway, we managed to lamb her, and this is the result. 1 mum with 4 healthy babies, which is quite rare. that all 4 lambs live. I think these will. Okay, here we are. We've got the milking machine off and running. So it's now time to put the lambs in to the pen with the automatic milking machine, and less work for us. They can take the milk when they want it. The machine not only mixes it itself, but it heats up the milk, so it's a real treat for the lambs. So, first one in. Look at him, he's full anyway, so he's not going to be too interested in the milk as yet. We'll put him down and see what he thinks. There we go, Lemmy. Yum yum. Oh, no. Well, he does like it.
Oh,
He's off and running.
but he's not that hungry yet.
He's not that hungry.
Right, you're going to find another one
Let's
to put
find
in then,
another
Craig. He wants to come out, so he wants a mate.
That was the first cage, wasn't it, Nicola?
Yeah, that's the first cade.
And it's growing massive.
Yep. Can you get another one?
This one is only small, but it's a bit of a greedy guzzler, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he's probably not the best one to put on, actually. Well,
Okay.
let's get another one. I think he's probably still a little bit small. I'd leave him in there for a little bit longer. Okay, oh, that's another one.
This is another one. This is going down.
Okay.
Here he goes.
They'll get used to it.
They'll get used to it. They're not mega hungry yet.
Okay, we'll put them in. Okay.
We're having our annual farm inspection so that we can be Red Tractor approved. Which is to say we're producing a quality product. We've been around the sheep, and they've all been approved and considered to be A1. But now I'm on the difficult bit. The one which always brings me up is the paperwork. So we're now going through the paperwork. A bit like, when your teachers have Ofsted reports, it's all, this is the most stressful bit.
Yeah, and you're doing it outside this year as well. But
yeah, because of COVID.
Obviously because of COVID.
yeah.
Socially distanced.
Yeah.
Socially distanced.
Sitting outside. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's playtime. Oh. They're all getting to know each other a little bit now. Those 3 are together. They get very attached to their siblings. Still a little bit unsure without their mothers. Wait for their mother. See them. So off they run. In fact, this is Mothering Sunday, and we've got plenty of mothers here on the farm. Okay, they're actually in their new home now. It's all bedded down and they've got their nuts. We're just seeing who's going to find the new teats first. And we've got bets on it. They're looking interested anyway. Oh. What's his name?
No, it didn't quite materialise today. Come on, Gangle.
Yeah, Gangles is not bothered.
That's just sort of skip.
Well, Gangles did a skip.
Considering last week he was almost dead. Yeah, he couldn't even walk on those spindly legs.
Look at it. How did that even happen?
I don't know.
do think there's either a deer or a baby milker.
Well, we'll have to see. No takers yet, no winners yet.
Okay, as you can see now, the lambs are getting a bit bigger and growing up. They're starting to drink water, and gradually they'll go off the milk when they get to 4 to 5 weeks old. They won't need milk anymore, and we're just sort of giving them some hay and some lamb nuts. And these will help to get their rumen going, which is the stomach that sheep have, which enables them to eat grass. And these are coming on quite nicely, and they'll start nibbling the nuts. And when they're finished playing, also they're enjoying a bit of straw, having a nibble of that as well, and you know, basically having a good time.
They're in their bigger space now. They can run around a little bit more. Just checking it all out. Evening, 10th of March, and a little bit different in here now in the main shed. We've now got pen 2. We've had to use that for more ewes and lambs. Still got a few 3s, so very quickly over the last few days we've been averaging about 60 lambs a day. So a little bit more empty than when we first showed you. Coming down to the bottom, yeah, a little bit more empty down there. Again, we've got more pens down in pen 9 with ewes and lambs. 10, 11, 12 still to lamb, and pen 13 we've got ewes and lambs down there too. It's been a very grey, grisly day today. And so we're not going to turn out too many. We've got all pens full in both of these sheds. That's the forage shed there, and the new shed that we've got. So the light's beginning to go. We have got 3 spare pens here, so we have got 3.
Tuesday night seemed a very nice evening. We had 4 sheep lambing, and I decided to have a beer and sit down and I watched what was going on. But anyway, as tea time loomed, Nicola came out and said to me, I think we better have a look at that single. She looks as though she's been trying to lamb for some time. So anyway, Nicola had a look at her. We could see she'd got a very big lamb. Although it was presented right, we could tell the lamb was actually dead. And we didn't feel we could get the lamb out. So we decided to call the vet. And the vet duly arrived about 45 minutes later. He had a go at lambing her and said, we're not going to get that lamb out normally. So I don't really want to give her a cesarean because as the lamb is dead, it could quite easily affect the bloodstream. We had a bit of a talk about it, but the only way to save the ewe was to give it a cesarean. Well, Nicola's actually filmed the cesarean, so whether you feel you ought to show the children or not, I don't know. That's up to you. But it was definitely a very skilled procedure by a man who was very capable at his job. And
The uterus had collapsing on the lamb, hadn't it? Because it was so dead, she'd stopped lambing.
Yeah,
and that's why you couldn't get it out.
And the size of the lamb, it was a massive lamb, hence the size of the scar on her side. But fortunately, as you can see, we've made the right decision. The ewe has survived and is looking quite healthy. We've given her a lamb to hang on, and tomorrow she'll be going out into the field with the other ewes and lambs.
So she's giving milk.
So she's giving milk.
Yeah, and the lamb looks pretty happy as far as I can see.
Yeah.
And
he's getting topped up with a bottle every now and then while her milk's just coming while she's recovering.
But the vet was very pleased to know that she had done well and recovered. It was always going to be a 50-50 call, but it is very pleasing when you get something right and things go as well as that. So yeah.
here the bigger group coming out for the first time. I did count them. There's actually 17 in this group. So they're just exploring the new outside pen. And then just move inside. Still got the other group, and there's 8. They're all very, looks like they're turned in for the night. There's 8 smaller ones there. Right, now we pray using what we call our sheep snacker, which delivers the food to the sheep, so they're all running around and pretty hungry. So the idea is we feed them, because there's so many, you get knocked over if you put them in a trough. So he drives along. And as he drives along, it causes to feed on the ground for them to eat. So it gets the food to them as quickly as possible, really. Don't really like feeding them on the ground, but it's the best way to do it. And as you can hear, the others have got wind of it in the other fields that we're going to be going to. So they know that they can hear the sound of the truck. see in here, the lambs are looking quite big now, aren't they? And big and strong, so it's very important that we keep feeding the ewes because the grass is not really grown yet, so they keep providing the milk for a little while longer. Here's the next lot in the gravel hole. This is a field that we can see from the paddock. It's got these gravel pits in it, which is quite good for shelter. Normally full of water in the winter, but it's been rain now, and the lambs just love playing up and down here. You can see the shed in the distance there from the other view. There they go. It's a good time for them to play when the mothers are more interested in the food. What a great game. The two original ones are there. One with sort of black nose, and Ted's there, look, nibbling. So they're getting quite big.
Yeah, they're still friends.
Yeah. To scare them. There's the ewe. Did you just spot her? The ewe with us is there. She's sort of in the middle of the pack there with the red ear tags. Yeah. So it's really good to see.